Hello there, this is Tobe from Musik Produktiv, and today we have a very special guest here at our store, Mr. Keith Carlo. Keith, how are you?
Great. It's really great to be here.
Yeah.
Quite a store you got here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got the tour. It was nice. Nice to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's massive.
It's a store with a huge kind of story or heritage.
Yeah.
We are celebrating 50 years of Musik Produktiv this very year. So
That's so cool.
yeah, and how's the tour going? You're on the Groove Tour, right?
Yeah, it's going great. We're having a ball. Me and Nico Naverman. He put the whole thing together. He's the artist relations with Gretsch and Gava. And we've been talking about doing this for many years. We finally were able to get it together with the scheduling and things, and it's been great. It's really been fun. I'm excited that people have been coming out. It's been nice turnouts and a great vibe. So we've had fun.
Is it a big difference for you being on tour in the United States or Europe or Germany especially? Is there a different kind of vibe to it, or?
Well, yeah, there is. I haven't done a clinic tour in a long time. It's been many years, so it's more exciting for me to be in Europe, and doing this. It's just because it's not my country, and it's like, you know what I mean, like it's not where I'm from, and it's just more interesting and meeting people, meeting
it's
people
just
from other countries.
different, right?
Yeah, it's
that
different.
Makes it maybe a little more exciting since it's not the usual.
It's great. It's really great.
So how long is the tour going from now on? Is it?
We just have 2 more days, but it was a 10-date tour, so 10 clinics.
Okay. All right.
Or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward already to get home, or are you totally into touring and the adrenaline and?
No, I'm doing okay. I'm actually, after this is finished, I'm going to do a tour with Bill Evans and John Medeski and Felix Pastorius. We're doing like a 3-week tour.
Bass playing son of Jaco, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to do a 3-week tour. I go straight from this I meet those guys in Spain on Monday, and then we're doing 3 weeks in Europe. So that'll be fun. And then I go home after that.
Thought I could ask you is there one certain thing that kind of lit your spark to become a drummer? So basically, why did you become a drummer? What was the initial thing that gravitated you towards the drums?
I was just always drawn to rhythm and music. Like for some strange reason, I was really young, and I just was one of those kids that just kind of knew what they wanted to do at an early age. I don't know how it happened. It was just a lot of music in the house and watching TV shows with musical guests and things like that. I was just attracted to it, and I loved rhythm, and I was just drawn to it. It kind of found me, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
And it stuck ever since, and I had supportive parents, and then I had great teachers, and then I just kept going, and I was always playing in bands since I was probably age 9 or 10, and it just became my identity in a way, from day one.
Yeah. So were your parents musicians as well?
No.
But they were music interested.
They were interested and they were fans, but they weren't musicians.
Yeah. Same with my family.
Yeah.
So there was always music in the house.
Yeah, I had 2 older sisters, and they were always listening to music.
And they were bringing records for you.
Yeah. So I was checking stuff out.
So is there any specific lesson that you've learned over the development, of your skill and craft that you wish you had learned earlier in your career?
Maybe. I mean, I wish that I would have I like how my path has been okay, and I don't regret much, but I wish that I would have just realized that just finding your own way of doing things and not worrying too much about rules in music, because there really shouldn't be, I don't think, you know.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, it's okay to just be yourself within whatever the situation is. You know, and I figured that out later more and more, but
Yeah.
and it
I
worked
mean,
out there.
trusting the way you are is a lesson as well.
Yeah,
right?
just having trust and the confidence without being,
Yeah.
you know, arrogant, but you have a confidence, you know.
Yeah, because
about
most, you know, like students or people want to, you know, try to get professional, they just try to copy stuff, which is okay for a certain level of, you know, getting
Right.
things done. But trusting your own identity or developing your own style.
Yeah, and you take stuff from all your favorites, you know, you take little things, but change it around and mix them together, and then it comes out
Make it your own.
a
in
little
way.
different, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, talking about that, of course, you were both born in the 70s, I guess. Mm-hmm. And you have had gigs with, you know, bands that were around already in the 70s and like established acts, you know, like a Steely Dan or... So, of course, when you got those gigs, you had to kind of, I guess so, fill or step in the shoes of another great drummer who's been in the band before.
Yeah.
And it's of different generation mostly. So, of course, with, you know, with Steely Dan, there was like, you know, people like Steve Gadd, who was there was obviously Vinnie Colaiuta or Stuart Copeland in The Police. And, you know, with Toto, no, there was like Simon Phillips firstly, and of course Jeff Porcaro before.
Yeah, right, right.
So, is there any of those drummer you had to step in the shoes of you had the most fun with?
Well, it's certainly, you know, it's an honor to be put in that position, but it's little intimidating, I gotta say, you know, but I had to realize, like I was saying before, I realized that what I had to offer, it, you know, needs to be, must be valid, you know, because there's a reason I've been called there. So, you know what I mean? Like I can't freak myself out. I gotta just do what I do and let it be what it is, and hopefully it's cool. But they're all amazing players. I mean, there's not one that was more fun. It was just, I've had a lot of experience coming in after all these legends, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, I guess I'm used to it now.
Yeah. All right. So, let me turn it on a little. What was the most difficult shoes to sneak in?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I had to choose one, it seemed like maybe where I was coming from at the time musically, the gig with Sting was a little more of an adjustment for me to fit in as easily as I felt like I did in other situations. And I guess I don't want to make something up, but I'm just trying to, you know, if I had to say something, that just felt like it had a little bit more of adjusting to do, you know, to make sure it was right. You know, it wasn't just a natural fit right away, I don't think, you know. So that's my answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
But it was great.
I mean,
I loved it. It was, you know, it got there. It just took a little longer, maybe.
Yeah. And it's a huge range you have to cover, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? From classical to jazzy to fusion tunes and pop and rock. of
Yeah,
course.
world
And
music, all
world
kinds of
music.
stuff is
Yeah.
infused in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great though.
Cool. If you imagine maybe your younger self being like maybe 17, 90, 20, and you get a call to play drums for the Ramones for one show, like one big thing, I don't know.
Yeah, at CBGB's in
At
New York.
CBGB's or Rock in Rio or whatever. One thing they just, however, got lost of Tommy Ramone or whatever drummer
Yeah.
it was by the time. So, and they already told you we need minimal stuff, right? We're a punk rock band. What kind of set would you bring?
Oh man, if they really wanted minimal, I would be cool with just a kick snare and a hat. you know?
Yeah, it's like super
And just
basic.
and just bash away and just lay it down. It's funny. I lived 2 blocks away from CBGB's. I lived in New York for like 22 years, and
Yeah.
my first apartment was on 5th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue, and you just walk down 3rd Avenue, which is the Bowery.
Yeah,
It's also called.
Yeah.
It was just a couple of blocks down.
Ah.
And I used to see Joey Ramone walking around the neighborhood quite a bit.
And did you see shows at the CBGB's?
I did. I actually played there with some bands too, but
Yeah.
near the end.
But it must have been since you were, I think you were
Yeah.
born in 71, so yeah.
Yeah, it was gone. Well, when I played there, it was probally late 90s, you know, or maybe 2000 or something, but something like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's
But
funny.
I love the New York history, so
Yeah,
I love.
well,
I
I
love
guess
all
we are
this.
both too young to have been able to be there when in '78 Talking Heads were there for the first time, or you know.
I got to play with Blondie and all that.
Yeah.
I got to play with David Johansen from the New York Dolls, singer, in a band called the Harry Smiths, and we used to play at the Bottom Line once a month for a while, and it was really fun.
That's cool.
I'm a huge fan of his.
Great. Who's your favorite drummer of all time? If you could pick one.
Oh man,
I know.
I would say in contemporary music it would be Steve Gadd. You know,
Yeah.
between him and Jeff Porcaro probably, and then in the jazz world, I'm not supposed to only pick one, but in the jazz world, I'd
Oh,
say
you can pick.
I'd say Tony Williams
Yeah.
and Elvin Jones. Those 2 guys
Yeah.
are big influences.
Like being in their Miles phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Keith. Thanks so much for spending time with us here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's pleasure's all ours, and we are really looking forward to the clinic. Do you have like the last question, right? Do you have like a routine just before you hit a stage, whether it's a clinic stage or a stadium or arena? Is there something you do like for the last 10 minutes before show starts?
I just try to get my headspace together sometimes, you know. Today was kind of a whirlwind. We just came straight here, so I've just got, you know, whenever I play, I like to kind of get into a zone if I can, you know. I just even if I just have to just chill for a second and be quiet and just stretch and breathe for a second, you know. But a lot of times I'll play on the pad to warm up if there's time for that, and
Yeah.
you know, just to try to get my head ready, you know. But you just do what you can. And then you go up and you play, and that's, you know, hopefully it's cool.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, man. Thanks so much.